So I am 31 years old, and one thing that I have realized in my 31 years of life is that the human experience, or at least my personal experience, seems to be plagued with seemingly unending difficulty. There doesn't seem to be an end to the difficulties and challenges that arise in the human experience. This seems to just be an intrinsic nature of this life, or an intrinsic part of the journey. And I know at least for me, it's easy to fall into this trap that, once I make it to a certain point, a certain stage in life, or a certain age, then things will be easy going. Like, I remember when I was a kid, I thought, just when I'm a grown up, right? When I'm an adult, to me, that was just like, when I'm in high school or like a teenager, I would look at like the older kids around me and I'm like, when I make it to that age, then everything will be great. And then I got to that age, and if anything, my life was more difficult, more challenging, with puberty and the difficulties that come with being an adolescent. And then once I made it to that stage of my life, then I'm like, if I could just, graduate from high school and be an adult finally, make it to 18, then things will be great. And then I made it to 18, still difficult, still challenging. I remember I was homeless for the first time when I was 18. I left my house. Brutally difficult and challenging. And then I thought, when I'm 25, I'll finally have made it. I'll have developed skills that I can monetize. I'll be successful financially. Maybe I'll find a wife or girlfriend or something, right? I make it to 25, still difficult, right? And granted, I think a lot of the inner work that I did in releasing different traumas and different emotional holding patterns, that made the biggest difference in the quality of my life compared to anything. That definitely made the biggest difference. And then on the external level, of course, money makes the biggest difference. At least in this society, you need to have money to function well and effectively. But on the inside, the biggest difference maker, at least for me, has been resolving different traumas from childhood and different painful trapped emotions or emotional holding patterns. So looking at the things that would trigger me emotionally and doing different release practices. So that really made the biggest difference. But still, regardless of that, even though it made my emotional experience more smooth, more stable, I still never reached a point where it's like, I've made it. Like, everything's easy going. I've arrived at the other shore of enlightenment where everything is just gravy. It's just smooth sailing, right? That never comes, but I think in a way this is the greatest gift of life, or it's really one of the greatest gifts of life, because since there's no end to the challenge and the hardship and difficulty, there's no end to the potential for growth and for evolution. Because once all difficulty and challenge vanishes, there's also no longer an opportunity for evolution and growth and expansion. So as long as you're physically incarnate in this realm, there's always more opportunity for growth in some capacity, whether that's physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, whatever it is. There's always a capacity to expand into creative nuance, to reinvent yourself, become a new version, develop new skills and qualities and attributes. And I think that's really a part of the beauty of life, right? So you don't want to get stuck and trapped in the hardship. That's its own, sticking point. And I think the most important thing for navigating difficulty and hardship is having a quality community of people, of friends and peers, and maybe mentors as well, people above you who are teaching you and helping to guide the way, who have walked the path before and they're showing you the way. And then also people who maybe you're mentoring and teaching. So you have people at your level, people above you, and then people who you're working to lift up. And when you have a community like that, there's really nothing that you can't overcome. But then the absence of community makes hardship seemingly insurmountable at times. It makes it seem like you're just stuck alone in your pain and the difficulty of your life. And so I think it's critically important to have quality community. And so this is a big focal point for me now, and also helping other people with this. And so I'm going to be coming out with a lot more content, and also in-person meetups and events for cultivating meaningful community and connections. So stay tuned for that. And I hope you found this video helpful. Talk soon. Much love. Peace out, y'all.